Here are some simple techniques and tricks you can use while sewing. Sometimes it is tricky to get linen cut on a straight line. I learned this trick from my friend Paige, and what you do is cut the end of the fabric where you can ruffle the threads a little bit to find a thread where you want to cut the straight line, and then grab some tweezers and then pull the single thread until it bunches up and you can see where the thread is making a line. And you're going to pull out this thread and cut along the line that you just made. And when you get to the end and you can't see where the thread continues, you can use your tweezers again and pull out the same thread and repeat this process until the entire fabric is cut on a straight line. Now this gives you a clean place to make all of your straight lines from your pattern or whatever you're cutting out. This next trick is an age-old trick. I remember seeing my mom do this when she was sewing, and all you do is when you have a cotton fabric, something that's thin and woven, and you want to cut a straight line and find the straight line, you just make a snip at the end of the fabric and tear it. At first it can seem a little scary, but I promise it is making a straight line, and it takes like seconds to do. This next trick is to get you familiar with seam allowances and sewing a straight line. All you need to do is grab some tape and tape it where your machine has marked, because it's marked in one place, but it's often hard to follow this line. So when you add some tape, it just gives you a clean place to follow, and you can do it a couple different ways. You can do it at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance or 1/2 an inch seam allowance like here, and it will give you a straight line every time and get you comfortable with your machine. Another trick to get comfortable with sewing as a beginner comes from my friend Kaylin. She showed me this idea and I couldn't believe I've never done this before, but all you do is draw some shapes on some paper. You can even trace part of your pattern on a paper to get familiar with it, and you take out the thread on your machine, take out the bobbin, and with just the needle, trace around the shapes and go slow, go fast, whatever is gonna make you more comfortable. Make sure you're lifting the presser foot and turning it, pivoting along the way. And this is a great idea to just get familiar and comfortable with sewing on a machine. At the end, you can see how the light comes through the holes and see how well you did of tracing the pattern and the shapes with your machine. If you've ever made bias tape or ties, you know how tedious this can be because you're cutting and folding and ironing, but this trick just skips through all of those steps, and all you need is a 1-inch strip of fabric and a piece of paper cut to 1.75 inches and 4 inches. And then you're going to do this series of folds, and then you gently glide the paper that you just folded over your fabric down the the strip of fabric, and it's going to make these folds for you and make it really crisp. And the trick here is to hold the paper on the sides, and you want to make sure you're just gripping it loosely. As it glides down the fabric, you might see that it's a little difficult, so just go back and refold the paper and maybe make it a little looser this time, and this trick will save you so much time. Using a rolled hem presser foot is a great way to make a perfect hem, and especially if you have a lot of fabric to work with, all you have to do is create an angle at the corner of your fabric and start to fold it over along the contour of the presser foot. And then line up your needle and pulling your fabric to the left side. Gently guide the fabric through the rolled hem presser foot and making sure it is doubling over. That's all for today. Let me know below what else you're looking for in a video like this. I would love to make it for you and kind of figure this out together. Enjoy your next sewing project.